Okay, so we are back. We are back recording. This is portion 2 of how to tap into the powerful you. And you are here with Kim Brew and Rosalind Oden. And we are both from Go Life Coach. I'm quite sure you know that from the first video if you watched the first one. Okay, so in this portion, we want to talk about, we want to have a conversation that I think is huge, like huge. And I don't know, I know there's like this awakening on the planet right now, and a lot of people are considered to be like woke, right? But what the heck?
So many different definitions for it, and what people are now considering to be woke.
What is it? Right? What is it? Yeah, right. Yeah. What the heck? Yeah. What is it?
Right.
I thought I was woke.
People are bashing. They're bashing people because they're not as woke as the other person is, the other group or something. Right. Like, you're not woke for real. You woke for fake, you know. I was like, oh my goodness, wake me up from this.
There you go. This one I had to cut it out, right? This one I had to cut it out. If you are arguing with somebody on Facebook, you are not woke. That's for sure. You are not woke. And everybody running around talking about woke. Oh, are you woke? What the heck? Let me tell you something. If you are not woke to who you are not woke, okay?
Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker.
No. You are sleepwalker. You are not woke. I don't know what the hell they consider woke is, but you are sleepwalking, you are snoring, you are whole 9. Like, the thing about being, this whole conversation too, this is a whole conversation about consciousness, being conscious, unconscious, and maybe we'll make that the 3rd video, because I was kind of wondering, since we're rehashing this.
It's not even like you being a conscious individual, you know, you got to be a part of a whole conscious community.
Right. Like, that's not conscious.
That's not conscious.
Because if you were conscious, first of all, let's talk about that. Because I was a part of that fiasco. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk about that. This is the thing. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If they were conscious, they would be telling you how the human brain works, right? I never got that in any of those lectures I was at, right? Because they don't know. So you can't give somebody something that you don't know. So they would be telling you that really this whole conscious thing, that, what did I put up? I put up a post that said 95 to 99% of your life is ran by your subconscious mind, which is the ego, which is the self. So everything is centered around self, me, right? It's all about me, but it's all through the subconscious, which is dominated by your inner child, which is the ego. Yeah. So they will be giving you information like that, and how to subdue your ego, because most of the time your ego is out of control. Your ego is crazy.
So therefore, all of the individuals, a lot of them that are considered conscious, are dealing with themselves from their ego.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Arguments on Facebook about who's conscious and who's not conscious, because everybody that's willing to submit to that is dealing with it from their subconscious. Yeah,
from their subconscious mind, because they're trying to appease their subconscious mind to feel like they're more important than you, or I know more than you know, right?
I know more than you know.
So this video,
you haven't done the amount of studying they needed to do. You know, let me give you these resources.
Right, exactly.
Then you can catch up with me because I'm right. Because you know the ego has a need to be right.
Exactly, I'm right and you're wrong. And and the thing about it is, if they knew that, they would know there is no right or wrong. There's just what's so. It's life. It's different stages of life. And okay, we're all at different stages of life. We're all at different stages of our understanding. We're all at different stages. So if that bit being the case, none of it is right or wrong, because you were once there yourself in the state of ignorance, like being ignorant to the fact. Now you get a little bit more information. Now you're like on this grand scale, I know more than you know. Now this is the thing. We just told you in the first video that we put this thing together and then we got some more information and then we expanded on it. So I take it, if we were to do this video even a year from now, it would be more information, right? So we're not claiming to know more than you know. You might be ahead of us at some other stage, but for right now, this is our level of understanding that we're presenting, which we have found to give us power. So we're really speaking from our experience, and we hope that you find value in this, but it's not from coming from a place of, I know more than you know, right? This is just coming from a place of, this is what I've experienced because I went searching for myself, is to find how to get more power in my life. You know, so one of the things that we uncovered during our journey is the position of the victim versus the hero. When I got wind of this, this was huge, huge for me, because I would never in a million years in my life before that point classify myself as a victim. But I was, because I was always whining and complaining like that was going to get the job done. I was always in woe is me. Oh, somebody's doing something to me. Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person, right? Then when I went looking, I wasn't a good person. You know why? Because I was stuck in being right and you being wrong, and I would fight you to the death to prove that you were wrong, right? And I would do everything possible to prove that you were wrong. I would belittle you. I would like discredit you. I would do whatever I had to do to win, right? So I was just like, ooh, that's not good. Like I would leave people in a bad space, you know? I would cuss them out. It was horrible. I was just, you know what I mean? I didn't know. It was, you know, I was ignorant to the fact that you shouldn't lead people in that way. And it wasn't that important to be right. In the end, I killed all marriages being right, you know, all the way to divorce court being right. Like that's the booty prize, you know? Like nobody really explains half of this life thing to you. Like if I had the wisdom I had now, back when I was younger, it would have been so much not wasted time, you know? But I can't even look at it like that because those are the things I had to go through to get to here. So, okay, it's all good. It's all a learning experience. So I don't beat myself up for the things that happened in my past. They were there to show me something. Yeah, they were there to show me what I needed to know. Even today, when things pop up, they're there only to show me what I need to know about myself, you know? And it's all a test. So this portion, we want to talk about the victim versus the hero. Do you have any more to say before we proceed on?
I do, because when I think about myself and my life experience as a victim, of course, I did not see myself as a victim. But during that period, you know, when I gave away my power and became the complainer, I was, let's say I'm doing things for people in the family, you know, they hold me in a position of, you know, I'm the oldest or, you know, the person that's most knowledgeable about doing a certain thing. And I could not say no. I couldn't say no to anything that was requested of me. I was reared to like, if whatever the parents thought was the weakest person, that we must push our energies towards that person to help or assist that person.
Oh, wow.
So I'm in that, I'm in that position in my life, like since I was a child. So at a point, I realized that I hated doing that. I hated being that. And because of my feelings about those responsibilities that I took on. I could have said no, but I didn't say no because I was worried about what people would think of me. I was worried about being a failure within the family. I was worried about the people who I was assisting not being able to do the thing that I was doing for them. They weren't able to do it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do it extremely angrily, extremely frustrated in it. And when I did discover that that is a way of being that I did not have to do, I felt horrible.
Yeah.
I was really a bad person. I was really, really a bad person. Because not only was I causing my own suffering, I was impeding the person or people's ability to have a life experience for themselves to help them grow and blossom in this world. So that was the most powerful thing that I came to realize about me being in the position of a victim. How I was victimizing others.
Now, and victimizing yourself as well too. Look, and victimizing yourself as well too.
Victimizing myself first and foremost, and then I'm victimizing others, and not really having a name to call that, not really knowing that was what it was I was doing because I was not aware.
Right.
So once I became aware, Kim, that was a whole different ball game for me. A whole different space of facing reality and coming to terms with how I had been living my life for so many years. And how people put up with it because they perceived that what I had to provide, that they needed it and they needed it that way. So they would just take the crap and all of that kind of stuff. It was just not a good situation at all.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah, and I know that we're not the only people experiencing that. It is happening again and again and again and again. And it's so vital that you learn the skills that you need to support you when you're going through those types of experience, so you don't show up that way for yourself or for anyone else.
Right.
Yeah, that's where that kind of took me to.
Yeah, being able, I alluded to this once before, but being able to receive like input from others, like realizing, okay, I don't know everything, and being able to receive input for others, put you in a space to gain more. So sometimes you have to lose to gain, so you got to give up that old way of being to gain more, So once you like detach from what that means, because we have been trained, again, cultural, right? That if someone comes in and adds value to you, that it makes you weak. It's not. It makes you stronger. So a lot of things in our culture is backwards, and that's why we can't actually get ahead or succeed, because people look at coaching like, oh, I don't need them to tell me what to do, right? And this is the thing. We don't tell you what to do. That's the crazy part about coaching, right? We don't have the answer for your life. You have the answer for your life, but we're trained to be able to ask you questions in a way that will speak to your subconscious, which is that part of your brain that runs 99% of your life, to go there and extract the answers as to why you have certain blocks, certain barriers in your life that prevent you from showing up powerfully. So, and one of the things that the ego loves to do, it loves to play the position of the victim, pretending to be the hero the whole time, right? And it's really diabolical the way it shows up. So it's diabolical. When we looked at it, we was like, whoa, like, what in the heck, So when we looked at, we identified the characteristics of what a victim looks like. And ask yourself, have you ever been this in your life? So first we talked about having no power. So have you ever been in a position where you felt like you didn't have power to change your life? or you didn't have power to change the situation.
Right.
Yeah. So the funny thing about coaching is when you work with people, people are always like, especially when you have like relationships, when you're doing like relationships and stuff, people are like, well, you need to talk to him, right? Or the guy would be like, well, I need you to talk to her. And they want both people on the line. Most of the time you do coaches over the phone because you're coaching people from all over the world. So they want both people on the line. And I'll be like, no, I only need to work with one, right? And they're like, well, you need to, because see, the reason why they want the other person on the line is so I could tell them that the other person was right and the other person was wrong, right? I was like, that's not how it works, because we don't view things as right or wrong. It's just what it is, right? And it's either working for you or it's not working for you. So let's look at how we can get this to work for you. So when you're looking at coaching, you're coaching two people, you always have the victim, right? Then you got the perpetrator. So you got the victim, and the victim is the one that's screaming the loudest, who's usually the perpetrator.
Yeah. Because they want to be right.
Right, because they want to be right about it. So it's like master manipulation, right? So it's like, all right, so the victim is screaming they have no power. They're powerless to change their partner. They're powerless to change their marriage. They're powerless to change themselves in their job. They're powerless with whatever, right? So the first characteristic of a victim is when you have no power. And how it shows up is in the form of a complaint, whining and complaining about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and they shift the blame a lot too.
Yeah,
it's never their
fault. Don't take responsibility.
Yeah, no responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't take responsibility. What else would you say?
They look to change the other person.
Yeah,
because they feel that they're right, and they, it makes them feel powerful if somebody comes over on their side of thinking and feeling and what have you.
You ever notice like they're never sure about themselves? They always speak negatively. They never find a solution, right?
They can't take a stand for themselves.
Right.
They cannot take
they don't have to take a stand. Right.
Yeah.
They're very doubtful, very fearful, right? Anytime you find yourself going into a space where you're like fearful, doubtful, you're playing the role of a victim, right? That's not the role of a hero.
Like people who ride the fence, like they can't make a definitive decision about anything.
Right.
They feel like, I have to show loyalty here and loyalty there. I just have to ride the fence,
Right.
And that's not taking a stand for themselves. It's okay to stand up and say, this is what I want to do. And it doesn't have to be related to either side or anybody's side. It's your side.
Yeah, they feel like they got to go it alone too. Like, you ever hear those people, they be like, I got to do everything myself. Right.
Yeah. Nobody helps me.
Right.
Nobody helps me.
Yeah. You ain't help me do nothing.
Exactly. I got it all on my own. Yeah.
I need to tell you. We all been there, done that. Right. Yeah. The procrastinator is the other one. Right. Man, the procrastinator. Oh goodness. It's like that you can't. They do it to themselves.
I'm gonna do it.
Right. I can never get anywhere in life. That's because you procrastinate your whole life.
I got all of this stuff to do, but I'm gonna wait till the last minute to do it because I'm like that.
But you know why people do that though? You know why people do that? Lack of confidence. It's linked to lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Because if you had the confidence to do it, you would just do it and knock it out right then and there. But they gotta think about it. They gotta mull over it. They gotta avoid it. Like it's going to go away. You still got to do it. So you might as well just sit down and do it, and then you put out the best effort that you can. But they don't know what to do. So they just sit around pretending like, oh, I'm so busy and I got to wait to get to it. If you had the confidence to do it, you just go ahead and do it, knock it out, move on to the next thing. So that's the thing about the procrastinator. But the procrastinator pretends to know when they really don't know. So instead of going to get help, or
asking questions, being clear on anything.
Yeah, they just procrastinate.
Live with it on their own with the lack of information, and they become ineffective because they really don't know what they're doing or what they want or anything.
Well, the procrastinator also, when you procrastinate, I used to do this. I used to be a procrastinator. I wouldn't say I'm so much anymore, but they get angry. I don't even know why I gotta do the stupid thing anyway. Last minute.
That makes me think of, my last year of my job, when the thing that I loved to do was, the assignments that I loved to do was taken away from me. And the thing that I really hated to do was like dropped right in my lap with no education about it or anything like that. I had to figure my way through it. And boy, was I suffering through that process.
Because you were resistant.
I don't want to learn this. And I kept telling myself I don't want to. But the moment I made up my mind that, I want to go out of this position with a bang, in a good way. I want to be remembered, as a person that was true to her word, and she did an excellent job, even when she didn't have all of the skills needed for this particular assignment. And I learned what I needed to learn. I asked questions from people who I had never talked to about this sort of thing before. And I admitted I don't have a clue as to what I'm doing here. I need a quick tutorial.
So I want to show you something. You something. What you did in that moment was you gave up the resistance to it.
Yes. Yeah.
When you give up the resistance, right, you then automatically shift yourself out of the victim mode into the hero mode, because now you're saying, I'm willing to give up this suffering, right, to get through this, which is a form of saving yourself, right? Yeah. So the key to getting out of being the victim is to shift into, I'm willing to give up the resistance, which is the tug of war. So you're resistant, holding on to this view, this story, this way of being, right? Stuck in the mud. And then you're you want to be over here, but you can't get over here because you're stuck here, holding on to being right, being a procrastinator. It's all out of lack of self-confidence, right? Not being able to believe in yourself, that you can save yourself. So once you give up the resistance to say, you know what, if I just stop, focus, I can save myself, give up the suffering, then you shift into, okay, what do I need to do here to get to this side? Okay, I may need to ask for help. I might need to, get more information. I might need to do more research. I might have to take my time and focus on this. Yeah. Right? Because I'm not the first person to ever do this job. So let me go to somebody who has done it and learn from them to make it easier. Let me ask for help. Let me not go it alone. Right? See, the victim thinks they got to go it alone. Remember, I got to do everything. Right? Nobody ever helps me. So instead of saying, you know what, right, let me get some help. Let me ask for some help here. More than likely, people are glad to help you even when they don't want to help you. Right? They'll help you because you ask. Right? Don't ask out of, well, what you should be doing, and you don't do nothing. Like, that's the way people approach it. They go to other people and make them feel bad for not helping them, instead of simply saying, listen, I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I'm this, I'm that, I need some help, can you help me? Right? And then you get it done in half the time. But we spend most of our time in resistance and opposition of that thing instead of just willingly going, right? And then doing what we need to do to move forward.
Yep.
Yeah. So what else can we say about that?
Do we want to, let's see. Yeah.
Well, another thing about the victim is, this is a huge one, because I heard somebody talking about this the other day, and they were talking about they're worried about what other people think, what other people think of them.
Yeah.
Why is that any of your business? That's what they think. So what? Like, okay, they either think you're great or not. Either way, what does it matter? So long you think you're okay, that's all that matters.
And a question to ask yourself is, if you're in that position, is that true? Is it true what people think of you? And then, so what if it is?
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, the only thing is, it gives you an opportunity to learn about yourself.
Yeah. So
like by being a coach, we're in a position to tell people, are you aware that you complain a lot? Right? And then that may be true, right? But it gives you the opportunity to view it, to change it. Because sometimes, you know, I always say the lens can't view itself. Like, you know, the camera lens that views out and takes pictures. The camera lens can't take a picture of itself.
Reflecting back. It's not reflecting
back. So you have to sometimes, you know, like listen to what people are saying outside of you when they say, you know, you're this and that. That's their experience of you. That's why I said, okay, I never looked at it like that before, right? Yep. I'm willing to take a look at that. You can't argue with that, right? So sometimes people will say, oh, well, do you realize that you put people down a lot, right? And then you say, no, I wasn't aware of that. So instead of viewing it as an attack, view it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. Like, what will make you say that, right? And then they'll say, well, you didn't. They'll give you all this evidence, right? And then you'll say, oh, wow, I wasn't aware of that I was doing that to people. You know, that's not my intention. You know, I promise you I'll take a look at that in myself. I wasn't aware that I was making people feel that way, right? I was leaving people in that space. That's not my intention. And then you use it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself. But the victim will view it as an attack and will start to defend themselves and start to react out of emotion, anger, frustration, sadness, yelling, crying, manipulating, you know what I mean? Things like that. So, and then simply refusing to look at themselves. So that's the position of the victim versus the hero will step back and use that as a stepping stone to learn more about themselves and how they show up, how their presence is received when it encounters others. Yeah.
Yep. The hero is taking responsibility, point blank.
Yeah, right. Where the victim doesn't. The victim says no responsibility. Right. That's your problem. It's not mine. You know, it's your problem that you feel that way. Okay. Now, if they're straight out lashing you because, you know, they a hater or something like that, and there's no validity to what they're saying, still greet them with the certain response. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yep.
And that's it. And you give it no more. You don't try to defend it. You don't try to do anything with it. You just look at it for what it is, you know? And then the other thing about the victim is stop saying yes to people that you don't want to say yes to. Make your yes be a yes and your no be a no.
No be a no, exactly.
Right. Like stop agreeing to stuff saying, oh yeah, I'll help you out. And you know damn well you don't want to help them out from the get. And then when it comes time to that day to do it, you can't be found. Or you like, why is they always calling me? Well, because you told me you was gonna help them move that day.
Yeah.
They're counting on you. So stop lying to people. Lie to people, set them up. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, start looking at
if someone is relying on you and you don't show up, that speaks to your level of integrity as well.
Right. And then the other thing, too, you want to just look at why do you do that? Do you not have the confidence to say no? Right?
Yeah.
And
what's really happening on the inside? What's happening here? Yeah. That would have you agree to do something that you know at the time you're agreeing to it, you don't want to agree to.
You don't want to do it. So now you're worried about other people's feelings more than you're worried about yours. And then you turn yourself into an immediate victim, right? But you agreed to it. So you wouldn't be a victim if you didn't agree to it. So stop agreeing to to things that you don't want to do because it makes you show up and look like a liar. You know, it makes you look irresponsible. It makes you, you know, you upset people, put people upset unnecessarily when you agree to take them to the store and you don't show up. I'm gonna tell you a story. I had a lady last week. She was like, I walked in, she said, oh, I said, you test your blood sugar? She said, no, because I'm waiting for my granddaughter to come back with some milk. And so she's sitting up there worried about her granddaughter because her granddaughter took a long time to go to the store and she must have stopped off someplace. When I went in and checked this lady's blood sugar, it was like in the 50s. I said, you're about to go into a coma, sitting up here playing a victim, right? Yeah. Worrying about where your granddaughter is, and she's somewhere laughing and giggling, and you're about to die. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you just kept sitting up there letting your blood sugar drop, next thing you know, you dizzy, you unconscious, you in the hospital. You might be dead when she shows up. But here it is. You'd rather be the victim here and make her wrong about not coming back to the store than to getting up to go to the refrigerator and get something, anything, and put your blood sugar up so that you won't be sick. But then you rather blame somebody else for you being sick. Well, if you had came back when you were supposed to come back. Well,
it wouldn't have happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah, this wouldn't have happened to me. When you could have put yourself in a position of being a hero and got out of that mind frame and said, you know what, let me save myself, right? Let me go in here and find anything, a piece of bread, a piece of whatever, right? Yeah. Some juice or something to get myself in a position to take care of myself because that person is not showing up for me right now. But we'll damn near kill ourselves out of being right about being the victim than to save ourselves. The victim also lacks integrity. So the person who went to the store, said, I'll be right back. That's out of integrity, right? Integrity is your word, is your bond. Doing what you say you're going to do by the time you say you're going to do it, where people can count on your word. You always show up without fail. That's integrity. Integrity is the bond, right? The bond that holds you and your word together. So you are your word. You show up as your word. People tend to not trust you when you lie to people and don't show up as your word. And that's lack of integrity. Yeah, exactly. And that's something that is really a lesson that needs to be learned in our community.
Yeah, it's a great thing to show up with integrity for others, but it's a greater thing to show up with integrity for and with yourself. Like, what are you doing when nobody is looking?
Oh yeah.
What's happening with what you said you would do when nobody else is watching?
So that is a great point. And we're going to end this video because we made the last video kind of long. So we said we were going to keep these videos to a half an hour. So I think we're at the half an hour point. So when we come back, we're going to talk about what do you do when nobody is looking. That is huge for where your power lies. I'm glad you brought that up, Rosalind, because that's an excellent talking point. Yeah, that's an excellent talking point. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create part 3. And I hope you're enjoying this segment of how to tap into the power for you. I hope you're enjoying listening to it.
Yeah. Awesome.